Catfish and Chums!
Hi everybody, Gary Heydrich here for this week's Fishing Chums Fishing Report with my old buddy Tuffy. How you doing, babe? Tuffy, 16. He's got a little bit of health problems, but he's doing pretty good. We went fishing this morning out at Table Rock. We'll be talking about this. And hey, boy, I tell you what, good reports on crappie this week, the last few days out at Truman, Lake of the Ozarks. We've got a report over at Bull Shoals Lake, a little report on Stockton, some crappie being caught out there. We're going to go to Taneycomo and, of course, out here at Table Rock. Let's start out at Truman. My gosh, there's been some good crappie caught out there this week. And they're catching their fish on the bluffs. It's more in the winter pattern now, especially the bluffs that have some cedar trees and some structure. They're picking up fish here. And what they're doing is pitching out like a 16th ounce jig head. I'd use a little crappie jig with a little bit of color, a little orange or chartreuse with just a plastic shad body tail, a swim bait. Pitch that out, count it down to about 10, 15, and swim it back around that brush, timber, cedar trees. You're going to catch fish. Also at Truman, they've been picking up some fish on isolated cedar trees, and they've been picking up some fish just by getting around some of the docks too. You may want to check this out. But the bluffs are the big thing at Truman. Nice fish as well. In fact, look at Gary. I like that name. Gary caught this beautiful crappie recently out at Osage Bluff area at Truman, and some nice crappie being caught this week. Boy, I tell you. By the way, the catfish is still good out at Truman. You want to go catfishing, look at this. Look at Stephanie. Beautiful catfish, 25 pounds, 5 ounces. Good going, girl. And so you may want to check this out, catfishing on cut shad out at Truman. Okay, let's go over neighboring over the next door at Truman, go over the Lake of the Ozarks. Still catching crappie out there, folks, on the banks. Have been anything with some brush. Get out there with your swimming minnows or just regular minnows. You're going to catch fish 6, 8, 10, 12 feet of water. And the big condo docks at Lake of the Ozarks are producing some pretty good fishing. In fact, some nice fish have been caught out there this week on the big condo docks by using minnows or jigs. And some of these smaller docks are starting to pay off as well. Bass fishing at Lake of the Ozarks picking up a little bit. Jig and pig has been fairly good, 15, 20 feet of water. And they've been picking up a few fish on wiggleworts out there as well. Speaking of wiggleworts, let's go out at Bull Shoals. I love Bull Shoals Mid-Lake area. Been picking up bass. I tell you what's happening at Bull Shoals right now. They've got some top water fishing out there, but not much in the morning. Not much in the morning. Seems like more in the late or kind of mid-late afternoon, and they're picking up some fish right before dark. Pop-Rs, they've been pop-Rs. They've been picking up some topwater fish on junior spooks. Try your favorite topwater bait out there. And during the day, it seems like in the mid-afternoons, jig and pig has been working on the bluffs, and even till up late evening. And some people have been jig and pig fishing at night out on the bluffs at Bull Shoals, picking up some real nice bass. So you may want to check this out. Some bass fishing has been fairly good back in the creek arms as well. A lot of shad are starting to move back there. Use some grub, spoons. Check this out, drop shotty. And a few walleye have been caught this week out at Bull Shoals. It seems like your bottom bouncers with night crawlers on your points and secondary points. A few deep water crappie on the brush piles have been showing up out at Truman as well. Okay, let's go over to Stockton Lake. We've had a pretty good report this last few days of some nice crappie being caught out there. Deep water brush piles, jigs or minnows, in about, I'd go 18, 20, 22, 25 feet of water at Stockton. Could be good this weekend. Go out and check out your brush piles. Okay, at Lake Taneycomo, fishing continues to be pretty good. Look at my old buddy Ed. Ed's always fishing out around Scotty's trout dock area on the bank, and he catches fish. Look at this beautiful fish. Good going, Ed. And he was using peach-colored power bait. So some trout have been caught out at the Lake Taneycomo. And they've been picking up some fish on red wigglers and night crawlers as well. And yes, they're still picking up fish out there on that pink power worm. Trout fishing pretty good out at Taneycomo. A lot of stalkers being caught. Okay, I was out at out here at Table Rock. You need down? Oh, sorry about that. Out of Table Rock this morning, that water temperature was 57 degrees. Of course, it was cool last night, and it's going to be kind of a miserable weekend, like I mentioned, weather-wise. But you can catch some fish. I caught a nice keeper on the bluff end on jig and pig. And somebody asked me about the topwater fishing. It's been a little slow, but I tell you what, it's better. Not so much in the morning at Table Rock, but there's been some activities on some shad chasing, or bass chasing shad. You never know when they're going to come up, where they're going to be. So always have that rod and reel ready. But it seems like late afternoon, evening hours have been a little bit better on the topwater fishing at Table Rock. But like I said, Table Rock has been producing some pretty good jig and pig fishing. Shad are moving more and more back into the creek arms as this water temperature is dropping. So get out there with your good electronics, find the shad, and you'll generally find some fish. I like to grub fish. I love that 4-inch grub. Smoke and red flake. I don't know why. I've always done real good on this. And some spoon fishing. So just get back there and cruise around. Find yourself a bunch of shad. You're going to catch some fish maybe this weekend at Table Rock. We've had some reports of some nice crappie still being caught at the rock. It seems like an Osage arm. Get up there in your favorite brush piles and around some of the docks. In fact, I was out at Ants Creek the other day and picked up a few nice crappie around some of the docks, especially the docks that had a little bit of brush. Well, that's going to be it for today. You know, we've been talking the last 3 or 4 weeks. We've been getting a lot of emails, and we're going to start answering some of these email questions, 2 or 3 a week. And here's the first one. Mark wants to know, are you the same Gary Heidrich that used to produce and sell walleye killer, the famous walleye killer lure? Absolutely, Mark. Boy, I sold a ton of these all over the country. We were in Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop catalogs. We just sold them everywhere. A great stand-up jig, and that's me. That's absolutely, boy, the old walleye killer was a great, great bait. Thanks for asking about that. Okay, Rex wants to know, Gary, you've been talking about the water temperature. When the water temperature gets just right back in the creek arms, what is your favorite water temperature? I tell you what, Rex, I like that water temperature around 40, in the early 40s, 45, up to around 50. But in the 40s seems to be a little bit better. That don't mean they're not there in the 50s. That's crazy. But in the 40s, mid-40s, I like that. And I get back there and I love to grub fish, find these big schools of shad, spoon fish a little bit. And they could be in depths of anywhere 80 feet of water. A lot of times these fish, the shad will be up around 30, 40 feet of water. So that's coming. That's on its way right now. So thank you for those questions. I want to thank you very much for being with us today. Be sure to like and share. And tell your friends about us. We got a little show here that we like to talk about all kinds of different fishing in different lakes. So tell them to subscribe. Get on our program here. Subscribe. We really appreciate this. And just like we're answering some questions, if you have any information you'd like, if you have any questions, be sure to just go to our email. Email us at fishandchums@gmail.com. That's it for the day. Going to be a little rough weather-wise this weekend, but let's go out and see if we can get bit. Happy outdoors, everyone. Gary Heidrich here for Fishin' Chums Fishing Report.